Hey everybody, how's it going? Saturday night. Glad you can make it. Glad I can make it. I had an uneventful week. Nothing stressful. A little bit of fun yesterday with my granddaughter, but that's always fun. And doing great. So I'm glad everybody's here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for signing up to be with us on a Saturday night. Like I always say, could be doing something else on a Saturday night, maybe more exciting. But I'm glad you guys are here. We'll get together, talk a little bit, bust each other's chops, have a good time. So happy Saturday, guys. How's it going? I'm sounding okay. Mics are working, I think. Did my checklist. Oh, wait. Almost forgot one thing, Steve. Hold on. Let's make sure we are live chat and not top chat. Almost forgot that. But I do have my PPE, my personal protective equipment, my gloves. So Chris will be happy about that. And see what's going on. Let's see who's in the chat right now. Got 15 people watching. And we're going. Chat's going pretty quickly, so let's see if we can catch up with everybody. I see Bruce. How's it going, Bruce? Ian, how's it going, Ian? Of course, Steve is here. Steve, great demo tonight with the building. Enjoyed it very much. I see John Gavin. John, how you doing? Let's see who else is here. Let me scroll up a little bit. Split Rock, how's it going, Split Rock? Good to see you. Did I miss anybody? Bill Hawk, how's it going, Bill? And we got Michael. Okay, Michael Lumbertino. Mike, how's it going, Mike? Good to see you. Thanks for being with us tonight. Who else? Bill Hawk. Don't want to forget about Bill. Hey, Bill, how's it going? Glad you're here. Scroll up a little bit more. Hey, come on, stop. All right. Oh, get this out of here. This, all right, cool. No, stop that. Stop. I'm having a little problem with the screen here. Okay, here we go. All right. If I missed anybody, Brad, how you doing, Brad? I didn't miss Brad. How's it going, Brad? John Gavin, I think I said John Gavin already. Yep. All right, awesome. Anybody else? If I missed you, just speak up, and I will call you out and welcome you tonight. Like I said, we have 16 people right now. That's cool. A few more will be probably coming on a little later on. Guys, how you doing? Glad you're here. Haven't seen Bobby Hall yet, but in case Bobby Hall is watching and not speaking, tonight we have for our beer, our non-alcoholic beer, we are going to go with the last of my Ripe Pursuit, Athletic Brewing Company, Lemon Radler. This is a good summertime beer. And it's refreshing. It's got a little hint of, no, it's actually got a lot of lemon in it. And it's good. And this is one of those beers you can get from Unleaded Brewing Company, Unleaded Beverage Company, my cousin Lucille. Don't forget, you can order this and in all kinds of different non-alcoholic beers, wines, mixers, liquors, all kinds of stuff. And get it at unleadedbev.com. That's unleadedbev.com. Mention Cousin Teddy at checkout and you will get 10% off your total order. She ships everywhere in the United States. All right, so check it out. Got a new improved website. Looking good. A little easier to navigate, so there you go. Also, guys, before I forget, Around the Layout, aroundthelayout.com, Around the Layout podcast. Check them out. A couple of new episodes out this week. Really good episodes. I always enjoy talking ops, and one of my other favorites is what's new. What's new this week, or what's new, not what's neat this week. We don't want to confuse them. But what's new in model railroading, and that's where they talk about products and stuff that's coming out. And don't forget to be, if you're a operating crew member for $3 a month, best $3 you'll ever spend in the hobby, you get on the call on Tuesday nights, and we have a great call every Tuesday night. you get other benefits like 10% discounts. I do it more than 10% on some of them. Discounts is different manufacturers. Check out the website and check that out. Also, make sure you sign up for the Around the Layout newsletter. And that's a great newsletter. Comes out once or twice a month with a lot of how-to stuff and observations about the hobby. All right, did I miss anything else? Don't forget Steve, my buddy Steve, BN Ironwood Railroad. He was on just before me at 7:30 every Saturday night. Did a nice building build and stuff like that. He had the little fiddly bits with the chairs and the tables today, but it was really good. Also does a lot of figures and stuff like that. Let's see. Anybody questions? Any questions? We got Michael says, question, this is my first time joining your channel. Do you ever use an airbrush for weathering? No, I don't, Mike. Back in the day I did, but I don't use it. This is to show, methods that I do here is to show you that you don't need an airbrush. You could use washes, paint pigments, powder pigments and stuff like that. You get great weathering effects without using an airbrush, all right? My friend Steve from BN Ironwood, Steve does a combination of both, so sometimes he has on his channel, he'll do a little bit of airbrushing, and he does something sometimes with powders and the washes. I use strictly powders and washes, and oils, oil paints, and with thinner a lot of times to do fades and things like that, all right? Funny internet on my end tonight, John Gavin. Must be the upcoming storm. Well, stay safe, buddy. Hopefully you're not going to get anything crazy. Yeah. Athletic Brewing? I don't know. Split Rock. But Athletic Brewing is one of the bigger ones out there. You can get them in supermarkets and stuff. I know Unlimited Bev sells it. If you can't find it in a supermarket, you can order through them. But Unlimited Bev has so many other great options. One of my favorites is Non-Titled Art. They make a couple different good ones. And Best Day Brewing. Best Day Brewing makes some really great hazy IPAs and other kinds, citrus IPAs and stuff like that. And they make a Kolsch. And what's the other one I like from them? There's another one I like from them, but really, really good stuff. So, all right, let's give this a pour. This is our Athletic Brewing Ripe Pursuit Lemon Radler. I think I've mentioned in the past, it's not a true lemon radler. A lemon radler is a half beer, half lemon soda concoction that people drink in Germany when they want to have not as much alcohol. And it's something that the ladies like. If you go to the beer halls over in Munich, they drink, some people drink that. A lot of women like to drink that. This is just a beer that has some lemon in it, and it's a little bit on the tart side, but you can see it's a clear beer, and it's got a lot of effervescence to it. It's really good. So anyway, cheers, guys. Happy Saturday night, and thanks for being here. Hey, Brad, how's it going? Guys, also, too, check out Brad. Brad just had a new update on his layout. It's Willow Creek Brad on YouTube. Check him out. He's got some really great stuff going on there down in New Zealand. All right. Cheers, guys. Happy Saturday. Glad you're here. Let's celebrate the weekend together. Cheers. Ah, good. It hits just right on a summer evening. It's not something I want to drink in the wintertime. This is great. This is good for the summertime, though. So let's get rid of that can. All right. So let's see. Anything else? Oh, Steve put the Around the Layout in this chat. If you guys want to click on it. Also, too, guys, I always forget to mention this. Please, if you're not subscribed, please like and subscribe the video. Like and subscribe for the live stream. You can get notifications when I upload stuff. I do a lot of shorts. I do a few shorts during the week. Sometimes I'll do a late freestanding video, and you always will be reminded of when the live stream is going to happen. So come sign up and like and subscribe, and mention this to your friends. See if you get some your friends involved. All right, this is a lot of fun on Saturday night, and we have great conversations going on. So anyway, guys, we'll pick up where we left off last week. We did this SP Southern Pacific. For those of you who don't know what SP means, and you should know, at least if you live in the United States. And this was the Kodachrome scheme. This was the ill-fated merger scheme for SPSF, or Southern Pacific Santa Fe Railway, that was supposed to happen way back in the day, and got killed by the ICC, and I think the Justice Department too. I don't know why they killed it. I think they were worried about unfair competition. But if you look at the mega mergers going on today with UP and NS, and then down the road, it's going to happen probably with BNSF and CSX. Happened with CN with the north-south routes. It's just a fact of life. But back then, they killed it. And I think this is kind of a sharp scheme. I did some rail fanning in Chicago along the Santa Fe main line back in the late 80s. And I was catching SPSF motive power and cabooses, and I liked it. I'm not ever been a Southern Pacific or Santa Fe fan, but I kind of enjoyed seeing that. It was something different. So anyway, last week what we did was we took this caboose and we did the initial fade. All right, and we'll go over a little refresher on what we did. We used our color wheel, and on the color wheel we just determined that we had red. The opposite for the red is green. So the opposite color on the color wheel is always your complementary color. That's what you're going to use to tone down your color that's on the car. All right. So use green to tone down the red. All right. And then what we did is we took some yellow and we took some white to help lighten up the car a little bit too. All right. So the green was what we used to tone down the red. All right. To mute it a little bit and help start the initial fade. And then we used the white and the yellow to get the fade going, all right, to lighten it up. I could show you on the bottom of the car. I didn't do much on the bottom of the car. So that's the initial color or original color. And you can see how much we got it faded just from that, all right. So we got that far. And I did mention during last week's program that in a perfect world, you really would want your paint, your oils that you use for the fade, it's kind of set up overnight or a day or two. A lot of times I move on from, to get it all done within an hour and a half that we usually spend on the program here. And so it works, and I never have a problem with it, but it's always better if you give it time to dry. So this has been drying for a whole week, so we shouldn't have any problems with this tonight. It's going to actually be really good. So, all right, what else? We are going to go with tonight a little something different. Now, these cars spent most, especially the cabooses and the engine. Some engines did come east once in a while, but you didn't have the pull power like you see going on today. Well, you see UP engines out on the NS, especially now with the merger going, and you'll see sometimes you'll see not the CN engines so much, but you'll see stuff coming out from west. You'll see a lot of BNS. I see a lot of BNSF out here on the East Coast. Coming out through pool power on a CSX and sometimes on NS also. So these spent most of their life out west, all right? The engines, the cars, and stuff like that. So out in the west, not so much the Midwest, but when you start getting out to the desert Southwest and California, Arizona, Utah, places like that, Nevada, you're going to get more of a light dusting on there. You're not going to have the darker grime that you see here out east, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to use, first of all, we're going to use some desert tone stuff. So I have for the wash, I'm going to be using this Korps wash, all right? You think about the battles in World War II with Rommel and who was the other guy? Who was the guy, the Allied guy? I'm having a brain fart. Maybe one of my military friends here will remind me. I want to say, who is it? Wasn't the British guy. What was his name? Anyway, so the Korps, it's going to be more of a desert shade tones and stuff. We're going to get that with this wash. We're going to go light with the wash, all right? I'm more concerned about with the dust from the pigment later on. So we're going to use this Korps for the wash. For the, where is it here? I got to take my glasses off because they're for seeing up. For the pigments, we're going to use dark earth, which if you remember, Russian earth was the darker of the two tones of the earth tone that I use a lot. The dark earth is it's like a lighter gray. So let's bring this over here. I'm going to use a North Africa dust. All right, this is MIG North Africa dust. All right, so we're going to use a combo of these two when we do the pigment on the bottom of the car. All right, and that's the dust that's going to be kicking up from out west. All right, that's what we're going to use to simulate that. The only thing I can complain about is this Africa dust, for some reason, seems a little more coarse than the other pigments. All right, I don't know if just it's the batch I got or if this is the way it comes out. So we're going to have to maybe mash that up a little bit more later on and then apply it on there. And we'll see how it works out. I've done a couple of cars over the years from out west, UP cars and stuff like that. And I've used this dusting effect, all right, to get that effect that looks like from the Southwest and out west in California, stuff like that, all right. Then we're going to go on and do our trucks. So I liked what happened with what we did with the Winchester and Western car. So we're going to use the streaking rust effects paint for the trucks, all right, for the undercoat for the trucks to hold the pigment on, and we'll be using the dark earth with maybe little touches of the Africa Korps. Not sure yet if we're going to use that or not. I mean, not the Africa Korps, the Africa dust. All right, but definitely the lighter of the two of the darker washes. I'm not washes, pigments. So, all right, and then of course we're going to go back to our tried and true acrylic for the wheels. We'll be using the old rust for the wheel faces of the wheels on the car. All right. All right. Before I get started, let's just see if there's anything else. Patton, was Patton in the Africa one, Chris? Who's the British guy? Man, I'm having a brain fart because I've watched so many things about him too. Yeah, but I guess Patton was in Africa too, I guess. Yeah. Oh man, it's just killing me. All right, I'll remember after the stream's over probably. Anyway. All right, so hey Dan, Montgomery, there you go, John Gavin, thank you. I think it was Montgomery too. I could be wrong. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm thinking about Montgomery. Yeah. Monty, yeah, Monty. All right, hey Dan's here, guys. Yelton Models, Dan. Check out Yelton Models. He's got a lot of great stuff. He's got a rather great railroad themed maintenance away vehicles coming out. Really cool stuff. I share a lot of the stuff that he puts out, and I posted on some of the vehicle forums, the 187 vehicle forums. So check out either Dan's posts or some of my posts to see what's been coming out. All right. Michael, right now for my layout, I model the Ironton in 1950s, mid-50s to late 50s. It's a cement hauling short line out in Pennsylvania. Existed all the way up to Conrail. It was half owned by Lehigh Valley, half owned by the Reading. That's what I model on my layout, but I also do a lot of Penn Central modeling because I love the Penn Central, and that's what I do for my RPM stuff. So, and you'll see if you look back through the channel history, there is a lot of past live streams where I've done some Penn Central weathering projects. So check that out. All right. All right. Any other questions before we get started? Yeah, he defeated Rommel. Yep. No, sir. I am not in Pennsylvania. I'm in the great state of New Jersey, communist New Jersey, or some people will call it communist New Jersey, but anyway, it's New Jersey, and I have a love-hate relationship with it, but it's where I've been born and raised, so this is where I'm at. But yeah, let's see, anything else? Yeah, SPSF, the lesson of not painting your rolling stock too fast, not counting your chickens before they hatch. Yeah, we're close. Yeah, I'm not far from, Pennsylvania is not that far from here, and I spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania over the years. So, in fact, I used to have a vacation house out there for a while in the Poconos. So, all right, let's get started, guys. So we are going to shake up our Africa Korps wash. We're going to put it on the Vortex spinner. Vortex spinner, courtesy of Around the Layout podcast. That's one of the ways they supported me through and support the channel. So check them out. And then we'll decant some of this out into the little tray here. Like I said, I'm not going to go too crazy with the wash on here. I want to dull this out a little bit. I want to get that little bit of a desert shade or a little bit of a brown shade going on there. This is going to be basically giving a little bit of a washout, and also it's going to help. This is what's going to help the pigments stick on the car. All right. All right. So let's get a pipette here. Put some into the tray. And wipe that off. Leave that there. Close this up. Always close the lid back up. That's why I like to pipe it out into the tray. Because don't ask me how I know, but I have lost bottles of wash and paints and stuff like that by not doing that. So, all right, anything else that we need right now? No, we don't need anything else right now. I'm going to pick a brush out to use. I think I'll use this brush right here. And we're going to go right across the top of the car, just for the new people like Mike who are here. We like to start at the top of the car. We're going to put a bead of the wash across the top of the car. Let some of it drip down, especially along where the rivet lines are. Rivet lines on here, I don't know if you guys can see them. They're very faint, but there are rivets here. So you kind of want it to kind of come down, almost like a panel liner through there. All right. If it's not perfect, it's not a problem. You know, we'll wipe some down through there. But we'll start with that. So we start at the top, let some drip down, go back with a different brush and just blend it in a little bit, and then we'll move on to the next side. Also, too, let me see if I can get a little bit more overhead light here. I keep forgetting I have some extra overhead lights. Here we go. That should help with light up the situation a little bit more. All right, so let's get our brush and let's get started. How can you see the layout? Go back. I forget what episode it was. It's not really scenic or anything yet. It's a lot of track and, you know, just finished wiring, stuff like that. But it was an episode back. I'm not sure which one it was. I gave a tour. I was just didn't really do nothing that much that night. I just were talking to people online and gave a little tour of the layout. Maybe another day I'll get up and do another tour, and when I get a little bit more done on it. All right, guys. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our car. You know, let me put a sponge under here. There we go. There we go. Okay. Everything's still in the shot? Yeah. We are going to go across the top of the car. Get a little bit more, because we want that kind of to drip down. All right. And I'm going to draw some lines down the rivets, just to get them to flow in there. All right. Going to wipe the brush off. So in between steps, you want to clean the brush off because you don't want to put excess more stuff onto the car. All right. All right. So we're going to blend this in a little bit. We're going to go down our rivet lines. And we're going to go down between the car too. And, you know, these are kind of representing rain streaks, grime that's getting washed down off the top of the roof. All right. So a little heavier at the top and a little lighter towards the bottom is fine. And we forgot our little end over here. That's why we can add some on. And add some onto the yellow part. All right. And I wipe the brush off again. Let's go back with a clean brush. Clean dry brush. Oops, this is not dry. I was mashing up some pigment before with that brush. I don't want to put that in the wash. All right, this one's dry and clean. We're going to go back and we are going to wipe that down some more. Make sure we get some on the steps here too. Turn the brush around. Get on this yellow. You can see a little bit of yellow on the bay window ends there. And again, like I said, what we do is when you're working on the car, I'm just taking some of the excess off of here. You want to go from top to bottom. You think about the rain falling on top of the car and it's washing over the sides and it's dripping down the sides of the car, right? So don't go back and forth. Don't go around in a circle. Don't go up and down. You just want to go from top to bottom, all right? Just like that, even when you're blending, all right? So we'll just show you what this looks like right now. Looks like streaks, all right? Got some streaks going right there. That's all we want. That's all we need, right? Let's just concentrate a little bit more down towards the bottom because that's where we want to get our pigment to stick later on, all right? That side's done. I'm going to flip the car over. We are going to work on the next side. Now we're going to let this dry a little bit. We're going to go back with a sponge later while it's still a little tacky, and we're going to blend that a little bit more, all right? That'll get rid of some of the brush streaks that you see that's left behind by the wash, all right? Don't want to do that right away, though. All right, we're going to go back to our original brush for the wash. We're going to repeat the process, all right? Get a bunch on the brush and go across the top of the car. Maybe just a little bit more. Across there too. And wipe off the excess. Hey James, welcome. Glad you made it. And Justin, how you doing, Justin? Been enjoying your updates about your expansion there, Justin, on the D&H there. I hope that goes good for you. All right, so we're going to go back, and we are going to bring some of this down along the rivets. And like I said, these rivets are very faint, so it's kind of hard to see. Very fine detail. This is an Athearn Genesis, and this was provided to me along with the Winchester and Western car 2 weeks ago by Steve. Shipped them down from Canada so I can weather them. Appreciate the help with this, Steve. And I'm going to put some streaks down on the battery box here. Wipe the brush off again, and now we're going to blend this in a little bit. And we're planning something out with these two cars, guys. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. We might offer them up for sale. Anybody that's interested, both cars. And the proceeds will go towards Steve and my weathering and building supplies. So if you want to support the channels, be an Ironwood on the Pine and Saturday Night Live Weathering, if you're interested in one of these two cars, let me know. I'll give you a price on them. And you'll be helping me and Steve out. Especially if you're a Southern Pacific fan and you like the Kodachrome scheme. Or if you're a Winchester and Western fan. All right. All right. Okay, let's get the other brush. The one that was drier. I think it was this one, or was it this one? No, not that one. Here we go. So we're just blending that in some more. And I'm not worried about these windows that get a little dirty. First of all, sometimes the windows get dirty on cars, especially freight cars. I mean, on Cabooses, right? Second of all, it's easily cleaned up with a little bit of thinner on a Q-tip, or a little bit of thinner on a sponge or a paper towel. Okay, you can see. Again, we have that streaking effect. I went from top to bottom. All right. There we go. All right, so we are going to work on the roof next. Now the roof is exposed, a little bit more exposed. A lot of stuff gets kicked up and rolls along the top of the roof. So we're going to put a stripe of the wash down there, and we are going to bring it out from the sides, from the center to the sides, one direction. All right. Give me a second, guys. I need to take a drink. I'm getting a little parched from talking. Again, guys, happy Saturday, happy weekend. Down the hatch. Ah, that hits the spot. Yeah, I see. Oh, James, I didn't see your layout update. I'm going to check that out. Split rock. Yeah, split rock. Oh, you're talking about James liftgate. Yeah, we were talking about it on, that was being talked about on Steve's too. Yeah, I hope you can figure that out, James. That could be frustrating, but I think I agree with other people. I think it's probably weather related. You know, maybe a little too much humidity. I have friends that have gates across openings on their layouts, and summer and winter wreak havoc on their gates. One fellow, my friend Ted Pamperin, has a massive swinging gate because there's 2 levels of the layout that they have to cross the opening, the main opening, to get into the layout. And you got to see how much that track expands and contracts. One day it was pretty warm down in the basement, and we got there and he opened the gate and I ripped the rails out because they were like touching each other. And then there's times in the wintertime where it's like almost like a 1/8 of an inch gap, you know. Luckily the trains run over it. He's does a great job on his track work and everything, so you know he doesn't have too much problems with it. But it could be frustrating, you know. My old mom and pa layout that I had was I had lift out sections spanning between the one leg of the layout and across the doorway that I have to my sump pump. But I never had any problems with expansion on those. My basement is pretty well climate controlled. We're in a split level townhouse, and my basement is pretty steady all year long. So I don't have the problems that some other people have with an older basement, especially when it gets damp and stuff like that. In any case, guys, if you're ever interested and you want to see some of my past work, you can check out my blog is still up from the mom and pa. It is I have not contributed to it since I tore the layout down, but it's still up there for posterity. It's called Mom and Pa Railroad 1943 on Blogspot. So you want to look that up. Maybe I'll try to throw a link in the chat when I get a chance. And you see how far I got with that layout before I took it down. And it was down in this space here. A lot bigger than the layout I got now. Right now I just got a smaller British style switching layout. It's got a yard and a cement plant on the opposite side of the island. And trains come on, come off. And that's about it. Did some switching. So a lot different from the former layout. But let's see, what else? Yeah, you're right. Thomas, you're right. Friends don't let friends do duck unders. I got a couple of friends who have duck unders, and one of them is my friend Dave Abeles, and you guys may know Dave Abeles from Conrail Onondaga Cutoff, and it's a beautiful layout and it's fun to run. But man, he's got, when you want to get from the one aisle and get around to the yard, you either got to walk all the way back down around the peninsula, or if you want to follow your train, you got to duck under. And my getting elderly body does not take that as well as it used to when I was younger. So yeah, lift outs are better than duck unders if you can possibly. If you have a knot under, that's a different story. You know, you got a knot under that even a 6 foot, say 6'2" friend doesn't have to stoop under a little bit to get under. You're good, you know. And if you got, some people have double decker layouts and you can get away with a knot under, you know. My old layout was an L shape, so I didn't have to worry about that. I didn't have any knot unders. The only thing I needed a lift out just in case I had to get to the sump pump, and that was it. So, all right, so we did the roof, same thing. All right, We started in the middle. We drew a bead down the middle. We worked from the middle out to the sides, turned the car around, did the same thing. Let's get a little bit off the top of that right there. And we just built some streaks coming down, and that dripped down onto the side there, all right? So now we just got to get to the ends, all right? So let's go over here. Once we finish the ends, we're going to go back around the car with our sponge to blend it in a little bit more. Also, too, we want to keep your hands clean. Even though I got gloves on, because we're working with a wash that's wet and stays wet for a little bit, because these are enamel washes. I do not like the acrylics because the acrylics dry way too quickly. Every so often, you got to wipe your fingers off even with gloves on, all right? Otherwise, you're going to get finger smears all over the place. Okay. Okay, let's see. It's the same thing. Now, normally, I would handle red and yellow differently with the washes. Normally, red, I like to use any kind of a red, Tuscan, things like that. Anything along the red tones, browns, anything like that. I like to use what's called a wash. It's called brown for green vehicles. Even though it says for green vehicles, it really shows up good on reds. For yellow, there's a wash called brown for yellow vehicles. And normally I would use that. But because we're doing this desert Southwest kind of weathering on this, we're going to use this Africa Korps wash. And we'll see how this works out. Same thing, we are going to go inside. We're going to put some along the top. Don't forget the ends are going to get a little bit more grimed up just because they are getting stuff blown into it, you know, from other cars that are either in front, not going to be behind, but cars that are in front of it, blowing stuff up off the roadbed. Also, too, you want to get some on the brake gear along the edge here on the platform, a little bit on the platform edges. Wipe the brush off. Make sure it's nice and dry. Go back and blend that in a little bit. And again, I got to be extra careful with details, especially on these cars. This is a beautiful car. Athearn did a bang-up job with the details on this car. But they are very, very delicate. And I've had more than 1 week where I've had to glue back on some pieces that I knocked off at my ham-fisted attempts of weathering. Get in there. And I don't see JP on tonight, but JP is usually the one warning me, being careful. Because he notices that stuff. Okay, let's see. Let's just clean a little bit more of that off there. Let's get the other brush. Okay. We are going to go in there and just blend that in a little bit. And we have a special little sponge. You guys have seen it in the past. Those little sponges on a stick that the women use for their eyelids. Whatever they're called. Okay. Make sure those aren't loose. They aren't loose. Okay. Do the same thing on the other side. You can see the difference between the two sides now. Let's get some on the brush there. Put some across the top. And some across the top there. And this is working out nice. You can see that the wash is coming down almost like a capillary action. Down into the doorway there. And just bring a little bit down. Let's wipe, let's get some over here too, on the ends. Almost forgot about that. Brake wheel. onto the ends of the steps. All right, let's wipe the brush off. And then just blend some of that down. Trying to be careful with the details, especially these very, very. And I can see one grab iron starting to pop out here. See if we can knock that back up in there before we lose it altogether. Okay. Get the other brush, clean this off again. Very lightly. Go in. And like I said, we are going to hit this with that sponge. So, knock that out again. All right. Let's move on. We're going to pick up one of our wedge sponges. It could be a wedge sponge, could be any kind of a pad sponge. Again, these are makeup sponges. You know, our wives are the best source for our weathering projects, right? I got these off of Amazon, but sometimes I can get them in the local supermarket. Got packs, big giant packs of different types of sponges, and they sell them for like $2 for $3 for the pack. I got these off of Amazon. I think it was like 300 sponges for less than $10. And you use them a couple times. You don't wash them out. You just throw them out. So we're blending together with the sponge here. Get a little bit across the top there. A little bit down the side of the yellow. And we're just blending that in. So you can see that it's really lightened up the streaks a little bit, all right? Like I said, we're not going too crazy on this car. We want to have it faded, slightly dusty, not too much grimy, all right? We're going to do the same thing on this side. Lightly with the sponge. Just wipe some of this away. That's going to blend in and get rid of a lot of the brush strokes that you see that's left behind sometimes. Some down the sides. Battery box. There you go. Show up on camera, okay? Nice. We're going to do the roof now. Same thing. Whoa. Here we go. JP was here. He'd be yelling at me, knocking details loose. All right, so we're going to go from the middle out. We'll take a little less away from this because, like I said, the roofs get pretty grimed up. Turn the car around. And I'm not too worried about details. Details are just basically coming out of some of the mounting holes that are there. As long as I don't lose it or it doesn't fall off all the way, some tweezers after the stream will fix it. So, all right. Okay. All right, I'm liking this. Between the fade from last week and some of the grime that we're putting on here now. All right. The roof already looks a little bit dusty. All right, let's get into the, let's get one of our little sponges out on a stick. Every time I say sponge on a stick, it makes me think about Jeff Dunham and jalapeno on a stick. If you guys remember that. Jalapeno on a stick. Let's take out two of them just in case we need them. This is another thing you buy in bulk on Amazon. And I think I had, I forget how many sponges came in here. 120 sponges. And they're like four-sided. So you got two sides on each end of it. All right. One side gets dirty, turn it over. All right. That, and I buy the micro brushes in bulk also too. So we're going to use these here, and we're going to get into the ends just to lighten up that grime that's in there. And again, we're going to go lightly because of the delicate nature of these detail parts. And anybody who knows Southern Pacific never washed their stuff. I remember being out west and seeing Southern Pacific stuff while Southern Pacific was still a thing. And oh my God, those engines were like grimy. Those what they call the gray? What they call the gray engines? The gray. Forget the with the bloody nose scheme, whatever that was. And those engines were filthy. Oh my God. And I'm sure the Cabooses weren't much better. So let's get to the other side. Same thing. Wipe just lightly, as light as we can. Yeah, these are just like those hopper cars I've done in the past, right? Time you do a hopper car, especially a covered hopper, and you try to get into the ends, and you have all those details. And before anybody says it, yeah, you could take the details off and do it up and then go back and put it back together, but I'm not about doing that. Call me lazy, but you know, the whole thing with my method here is like quick and easy, right? Get the best results you can with the minimal of efforts. So, okay, let's get in there a little bit. See if we can get a dry brush here. I just want to get a little bit of excess in there that I want to knock out of there. Let's see if I can get in with this one. There we go. Beautiful. That's what I was looking for. Maybe here too. Okay, awesome. Ready to move on, guys. Let's give it a quick spin, take a look at it. That's one side, one end, the other side. Hopefully you guys can see the streaking effects that I'm going for here. The other end and the roof. We are moving on to the pigment portion of the program. Now, for people who are new here, the pigments, all right, they are just ground up paint pigment. If you were to add thinner to it, they also have what's called a pigment fixer, which is, I think it's just thinner also. One of the things I say, I think Mig Jimenez is a very smart businessman. He rebottles his, and I think some of the other manufacturers do it too. I think they take their odorless thinner and put it into different bottles and call it something different, you know, like a rejuvenator and bring the paint back. Pigment fixer to set the pigment into the sides of something. Thinner, right? I think it's all the same stuff. You can interchange them pretty much. But what the washes do, because the washes have some thinner in it already. That's how you make the wash. You thin out some paint. They're enamel, so they take a while to set up. You don't want to put the pigment on while it's wet, but you want to have it tacky. So by the time we get to the point that we are how many minutes into the live stream? We are 50 minutes into the live stream, but we really didn't start doing things until about 15 minutes in, right? So we're talking about 15 minutes ago, we started putting the wash on this car. By the time you get to this point, it's going to be dry enough, but still a little bit tacky. And if the tackiness is what you're looking for, because the tackiness is what's going to embed the pigments into the side of the car and hold it there. So the tackiness of the enamel is going to be kind of like the glue that's going to hold the dust effect that you're trying to get onto the car, all right? You don't want to wait too long to do it. If you get more than an hour into this, then you're going to find out that the enamel's dry and you're not going to be nothing to adhere to it, all right? All right, so we're going to go in and we're going to start with a little bit of this sand color. All right, this is the Africa dust, North Africa dust. And you see I'm kind of tapping it into the thing because I'm trying to mash it down and get a little bit finer. All right, and we are going to just add some along the bottom there onto the battery box, because this definitely goes on coarser or more coarse than the dark earth. All right, so you want to get that and some of it up the car. So once you get across the bottom, you want to bring some up. So now we're going to go the opposite. Now we're going, everything that's going getting kicked up from the roadbed is getting blown up the side of the car. So we are going from, instead of going from just top to bottom, now we're going across the bottom and from bottom up. All right, so we're going to go draw some of this up the side of the car, knock a little bit off there, up the side of the car. I'm going to get a little bit more on the bay window. And you can see we got a nice light sand dust effect going on there, right? Now we're going to go back with a little bit, not a lot, a little bit of the dark earth, and we're going to repeat the process. So hopefully we're going to get a little bit of a little light and dark effect with this. Because the cars did, Santa Fe, not so much Southern Pacific, but Santa Fe did have running out in the Midwest. So you will have a little bit of dark getting knocked onto these cars. And then again, same thing. Bringing up the side of the car like that. Battery box will knock a little bit down. And hopefully we're going to notice that effect on the car. So you can see you got a little bit of the light sand effect and a little bit of the dark dirt effect there. And you guys can see that. There you go. All right. Flip the car over. We're going to repeat the same process on the other side. All right. Any questions? There you go. Me too, Tom. Split rock, minimal effort. All right. Maximum, minimal effort, maximum impact. That's what we're going for. Oh, hey, Steve, thank you for putting the link to the blog up there. Thank you. Be interested to get some feedback how you guys like it. I was just starting to get into scenery at the time, so when it came down, that's a whole nother story about it coming down and why it came down. All right, anything else? Let's see. No, that's it. Okay, cool. So I guess we worked up some of this sandy color here, the Africa dust. Draw that along the bottom. And we're going to knock some up the side of the car. Going to blow off some of the excess. And here we go, this side of the car. All right. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, it was a lot larger than what I got now. And I had gotten to the point where I had a few operating sessions. And Steve, I'll tell you this story one of these days when we're talking, one-on-one. It's a little bit of a story, involved a possible move that never happened, which I think I was duped into thinking was going to happen to get the layout to come down, but we won't get into that right now. So, all right, so we're going to do the same thing on the top. The top, we're going to go a little more heavier with the, in fact, you know what? I didn't put the dark earth on here first. All right, let me put a little bit of dark earth on there. Forgot to add that in for a little variations on the shade there. And again, knock that up the side of the car a little bit. But there was trickery involved there, I think. I think me was duped. All right, there you go. You got a nice little contrast going. Some light sand and some little darker grime earth. All right, we're going to do the roof, same thing. We're going to start with a little bit of the sand, but we're going to go a little heavier with the dark earth. We want to kind of have that little bit of sandy dust effect up on the roof here, though. Maybe a little bit more over here. And same thing with our dark earth. Yeah, a little too much on the brush. Let me get some off there. Dust that around. Same thing out the other side. And I tell you, some colors are easier to work with when you're weathering, and red seems to be one of them. You get a nice contrast with the grime and the wash on this car. Really liking what I'm seeing. Okay, we'll blow off some of the excess. There's the roof. Maybe take a little bit more off that center there. There we go. We're going to work on the ends now. And I think we will just do... some of the... maybe we'll mix the two colors together. So I got a little bit of the sand and the dark earth mixed in there. And we're just going to plop a little bit along the bottom here. Plop some in here. Blow out the excess. There we go. What do you think? Right? Like I said, a lot of gain for a very little bit of work here. Yeah, it's a little bit dark here. I want to just wipe some of that out, so I'm just going to hit it with the sponge. There we go. Do the same thing on the other side. Also with this Caboose, if anybody's thinking about they might want it, this Caboose lights up. It has a sound card chip in it, so it works with DCC. All right, really, really well-made car, beautiful car. Be a lot of fun to run this. And pick up a little bit more of both colors. Get some in the bottom there. Blow out the excess. All right, there we go. Like I said, anything that's a little too much, you can get in there with your smaller sponge and just wipe some of it away. All right, awesome. Now, I normally don't do stuff with the bottom of the car, all right? I think I will give the bottom of the car a little bit of a wash. But again, unless you're doing a contest model car or you RPM, even then, nobody should be picking up your car looking at it. And if your car is on a layout, as long as if anything that's hanging down is weathered and grimed up, you should be okay, all right? But if it bothers you that you want to have the bottom weathered too, go in there with a dark color wash. You can put the wash in there. You can grime it up with some of the pigments. I think I'm going to hold off on doing that. I'm not going to do that, all right? I think if you look at the car when it's like this is fine, all right? All right, guys, we're down to the home stretch. We are going to take care of the trucks and the wheels, all right? We are just about an hour. All right, we're doing good with time here tonight, so I'll just take a pause for a drink. If anybody's got any questions you want to shoot the questions away, and I will answer them. So, yep. All right, let's see. I know we're good. All right, guys. So like I was saying before, we were going to go with our, we did this. Oh, I knocked over my advertiser sign here. Sorry about that. We're going to go with the streaking rust effects again. This is the paint that we're going to use for doing the side frames of the car. All right. And again, any kind of a brown, tan, beige, not off-white. You want something like when we do the Korps soil, that's kind of like a tannish, a tan color. It's kind of almost matches what's this here. All right. Anything like that, because you want to highlight underneath, because we're going to put pigment on top of the wet paint. And you want that to highlight to kind of come through a little bit, but you don't want it to dominate. So the lighter colors work good, but this rust color worked really good last week. So we're going to repeat the process with this car. Same thing we did with the Winchester and Western car. So we put this on the vortex spinner, or I should call it, hey Steve, I should call this the rayolator, right? Because Ray got this to me. The rayolator. All right, so we are going to decant some of this out into our tray, into a different spot. And you can see the color it is here. That's, you know, rusting streak effect. We're going to put some into the thing here. Put that off to the side, close our bottle back up again. And we are going to get a different brush. Let's see. Let's take a look at this brush. Nah, this is sprayed out a little bit too much. Here we go. This brush will work good. Make sure there's nothing living in it. All right. We are going to take some of our paint, put it on the brush. We are going to go over and just dab a little bit off because we don't want it sopping wet. And we're going to go back to the trucks and we are going to dab that on the truck. Cover the whole truck that it's wet. It's got the rust paint on there. Make sure you get the brakes and everything else. Really going to push it into the crevices there. Get a little bit more. Same thing, knock off the excess. Do the other truck. And you can see this truck is pretty cool. It's got the little generator on there. All right, that's how they got the Caboose electricity for the Caboose. So we make sure we get all that. Maybe not so much the chain on the generator there, but I think I need a little bit more. There we go. And while that paint is still wet, let's make sure I go back over here, make sure this is wet. We're going to dab on some of this earth tone powders, pigments, all right? So let's go with, see, this is brush clean. Is it dry? Yeah. And we're going to mix mostly the dark earth, but we will mix in a little bit of the Africa dust in there too. And we're just going to drop that on top. Don't paint it on. You just want to pick it up with the brush and kind of dab it on there. Just dab it on there. All right, same thing with the other truck. I'm going to put another light on, guys, here. Hold on a second. Here we go. I'm just trying to work without that light because sometimes it shines too bright and you can't see what's going on here. But I'm having trouble seeing some of the stuff that I'm doing, so. All right. I'm going to tap off the excess. Blow some off with our breath. All right. So We've weathered up these trucks very nicely here. Let's just knock a little bit of the excess off. And again, what we're doing is that if you look at trucks in real life, the trucks on freight cars, they're not shiny black. They have that rough cast look to them. They're not painted or anything like that. They're just cast metal. All right. These aren't shiny because this has got some of the dust from before that spilled over on the car. But we're going to go back on this side now and do the same thing. We are going to get our rust colored paint. Just dab off the excess and go on and paint on the side frames here. Push it into the springs. Again, paint's starting to dry out in the tray, but we don't need too much more. Just dab that on there. And there we go. Go back with our other brush that has our earth tone mixture on it. Like I said, mix a little bit of the sand in there with the dark earth. Dab that on there. And also too, if you want to go back with a little bit of rust pigments, you can. Put them in where the springs are, where the brake shoes might be, wherever you think you might see some rust. Knock off the excess, blow off some of the excess on there. You can even get in with the brush if you see a little too much there. Spread it out. You can see a big difference on the trucks now. Like I said, we can go in with a little dab of rust color if we want. I have the rust over there. You could put them in a little bit into the spring area there, maybe a little bit on the journals. If you feel up to it, if that's what you want. You don't have to. All right, same thing on the other side. Just dab a little bit of rust color there. Oops, sorry guys. Banged my head on the camera. Clean that off. There we go, our trucks. Not too much on that generator wheel there. That's not something you want to have too rusty. All right. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to do the wheels. Sometimes I like to do the wheels first. Sometimes I do them later. Doesn't matter. Going to get yourself a micro brush. Again, there's another thing I buy in bulk. I'm running out on this batch here, but I went out and bought on Amazon this giant pack of micro brushes. This will last me a lifetime now, I think. The other set has lasted me about 3 years. So, and how many are in here? 500 pieces. And if you didn't ever notice that the different colors are different size tips, all right? I have the wider tips all the way down to the yellow, which is the smallest tips, all right? So you can use them. I just use them interchangeably here. I don't go too crazy with them, you know. As long as I can get into the wheel face with them, that's what I do. So, all right, let's see. Let's get the old rust acrylic. Again, this is the only place I like to use acrylic is on the wheel faces because I want that to dry quickly. Everywhere else, I don't mind having it enamels or oils and let it set up overnight or in a day or two, all right? And usually they all set up within, it starts to set at 45 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes. So you can hear the little ball bearing in there. You can use the pink shaker. You can use this shaker with the ball bearing. Doesn't matter. We're going to drop a little bit of this into our tray. Don't need too much. Wipe off the excess so it doesn't stick. Okay, we get our little micro brush, dip it in the paint, and we are going to go on the wheel face itself. Just take our thumb, put the brush in there, take our thumb and spin it 1 or 2 times around, make sure it's covered. Go back, dip again. Next wheel, same thing. And get the whole thing there. Just give it one more shot. There you go. Dip it again. Same thing over here. Dip it again. Same thing over here. Repeat the process on the other side. And once we're done with that, we will be done with the car. So even though I spread this out over 2 weeks, guys, this is really something when you add the hours up or add the time up that we did this, when you take out all the stopping the BS and say hi and everything else with everybody and talk about the week, this car is basically done in less than 2 hours from start to finish. All right. Again, we spread it out over 2 weeks because I try to keep the live stream in under an hour and a half. I don't like to go over an hour and a half. Sometimes I even think an hour and a half is too long, but it's hard to keep people's attention over an hour and a half. The live stream is fine because we're all talking to each other, but it's everybody who watches this after the live stream. It's hard to, I guess it's hard to sit and maybe and go on through. I've toyed around with doing chapters, maybe inserting chapters in so people know where to skip up to, get past all the hellos and everything else, and then get right to the weathering part. But anyway, we are just about done. I'm just going to look at the car, see if there's any place I want to touch up. Again, I say this every week. When you think you're done, put the car away, or don't put it away, but put it aside for a day or two. Come back and look at it. See if there's anything you want to add to it, anything you need to take away. You can easily take stuff away by a little bit of thinner on applied with a brush and wiped away with a sponge. And a lot of times you can get some stuff that looks not that great. You're able to fix it. All right. You can always go back and correct things. Right. But for the most part, I say this car is done. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Just take a quick look again. It's our Kodachrome Southern Pacific Santa Fe car. The doomed merger scheme. Like we said, we think maybe they gave themselves bad luck when they went ahead and painted ahead of time. That's the end. One side, the other end, and the roof. All right, awesome. All right, I guess that's it, guys. It looks great. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate it. You can you can watch it on 1.5 speed, or you can watch it on 2 speed, and I'll sound like Alvin the Chipmunk, Alvin! Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, there's ways to do it. I mean, sometimes when I'm sitting through a long video, especially even when they don't have chapters in it, I'll speed up a little bit until I see something interesting, and then I'll go in and look. So there's ways to get around it, I like to be social. I love talking to you guys. I love interacting. I think it's like a little bit of a community we got going here between, my Steve's live stream, and right after Steve is me. And we get together on a Saturday night and have some fun talking and maybe helping each other learn. I'm still learning stuff myself, and still experimenting, and I'm still coming up with things. And hopefully when I find something out, I can share it with you guys. And sometimes you guys share things with me. And I learned things. I know JP's given me some pointers in the past. I've learned a bunch of stuff from Steve and other people. So, I mean, it's great. So anyway, guys, we're at, let's see, we are at 75 minutes. Oh, we're at an hour and 15 minutes. We actually made some good time tonight. Made some great time tonight on this. We didn't have to do the whole thing. We didn't do the fade. We did that last week. Trying to already plan out for next week what car I'm going to do. It might be another green car. Haven't done a green car in a while, right? I have a Rapido. What is it? Evan's X72 box car that's been sitting there feeling neglected. So maybe this will be next week. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. If anybody else has got something to suggest. Like I said, both the SP car and the Winchester and Western car are going to be for sale. All right. This was the one we did 2 weeks ago. The SP car is the one we've done the past 2 weeks. If you're interested in either car, shoot me a message. I'll give you a price on it. It won't be bad. And then, like I said, proceeds will go towards between supporting Steve and myself on our channel. I'll split the proceeds with Steve. He supplied the car and I did the work on the car. So, you know, and hopefully Steve's okay with that. And we'll see from there, right? So again, guys, if you're an SP fan, SPSF, let me know, or a Winchester Western semi-modern car. Had a lot of fun doing these cars. Appreciate you guys being here as always on a Saturday night. Again, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Spread the word. We are at 317 subscribers, still trying to get to 500. Once we get to 500, it opens up some possibilities with YouTube that I can do some other stuff here. So appreciate it if you can do it. Also, be on the lookout. I am trying to learn OBS, and I've been doing some online tutorials and practicing with it. So maybe by next week you might see a new look to the live stream. We'll see. A little bit more professional look outside of just using my iPhone camera that I've been using for the past year, roughly close to a year now, almost a year. So anyway, guys, appreciate it. This is the end of episode 47. Hope you have a great week. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you next week on Saturday Night Live at Whitehead. Catch you later. Bye.